Hello and welcome to Claret and Booze. My name's Nick. This is the 18th time I've tried to record this video this morning because my brain just isn't working and I keep clicking the wrong button. So I'm frustrated already. Welcome to what is it? It's the morning after the game before. The following day review, now the dust has settled. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe, as many of you have done already, and drop a like on the video because it does really help us. Okay, I'm going to caveat this like everyone else seems to because we just seem to have far too many fans that will look at the thumbnail of a video or not watch it and just place a comment in the comment section. What do you want him to do? It ain't his fault. You got to give him time. Watch the fucking video. It's exactly what I said at the end of that video yesterday. Sorry to disappoint you. I mean, if I see something in the game, we are making shows where we've got to talk about the game and talk about what we think. So if there's something wrong, I'm gonna criticise Potter the same as I'll criticise anyone else. But I did go on to say it's not his fault. He's got nothing to work with. We're decimated with injury and he needs backing. All right? So calm yourself down. Wind your neck in. All right? Okay, that's that done. Yeah. Talking about the fan base, actually, I'm going to start with that. I know people that sit all around the stadium. And the thing that surprised me most was they all said the same thing, in that it felt like it was a bit of a toxic atmosphere in there from the get-go, which is weird. I was expecting everyone to be on board with Potter. That's kind of what I thought. I mean, I am. I'm still fully on board with him. I'm frustrated. I'm annoyed. But I'm on board with him. I am going to back this guy. We can't change managers again, for fuck's sake. We can't. We've got to back him. And the board have got to back him. But I thought that the fan base would. And from what I'm told about the general feeling around that stadium, I'm not too sure he's going to get too much time with the match-going fan, which is weird. Because the match-going fan suffered they suffered Moyes. They even suffered a load of Lopetegui. Without that kind of feeling before that kicked off. So that was a bit weird and a bit concerning because that ain't going to help the man, is it, at all? It doesn't help that you set up the way that he did with 8 defenders and 2 attackers. That doesn't help. When you consider that he speaks in his press conferences about understanding, he's got to give the fans a brand of football that they can connect with and relate to and stuff like that. He says all of these things. So you have to deliver it, once you've said it. Otherwise, it's just words. But he hasn't got the players to do anything differently. And you're talking about a team that are hemorrhaging goals for fun. We were long before Potter came in. We were under Moyes. It got worse under Lopetegui. And his first job has got to be to stop us from conceding. It has, because if we keep conceding goals, we're going to keep losing games. It's as simple as that. You can't just go to outscore the opposition in every game, especially when you ain't got no forwards on the pitch. So the only chance really, when you look at it in retrospect, that we had of getting anything out of that game yesterday against the Palace team that are playing really well away from home was to probably just try and protect, as much as it kills me, was probably to try and do what he did, and that was just to block. And I'm just so concerned because I don't think that the players that we've got out that we're talking about are going to they're not going to make a massive difference when they return. Yeah, of course, Bowen will be good. It'll give, to have Bowen, Jimmy and Kudus will make a difference to our attacking options because as we saw with Kudus yesterday, he was just getting snuffed out left, right and centre. He really was. I was putting 2 or 3 players on him. Well, when you've got more players of that ilk on the pitch, the opposition can't do that. They can't put 2 men on everyone, can they? So that alone will make Kudus's life easier and it will give us more of an attacking threat. So it will help. But it's not going to transform us. Our problems are the other 2/3 of that team. Our problems aren't in the attacking third, although they are at the minute. We ain't got no... They're all injured. The problem's midfield. Alvarez, absolutely fine, as he showed the other day. He showed what he can be. As a CDM, if he's got legs around him and stuff like that, Alvarez will be fantastic. He'll be a phenomenal player. But Guido and Souček in midfield. You look at any other functional Premier League team and you look at the type of midfielder they've got in there, dynamic, fast, snappy in a tackle. Just look at Bournemouth, you know, look at Palace, the team that we were playing. We made Will Hughes look world class. You know, it's madness, absolute madness. The middle of our park has been a problem for so long. We're so slow, so slow, and yes, that does leave the defence exposed at times, but you can't give them a pass. I mean, every now and then as a defender, you're going to be in a situation where you're going to have to deal with an attacker running at you. That's the job, you know? Sometimes the opposition are going to break the lines, they're going to get through, and you're going to have to deal with that situation. Well, we don't ever deal with any situation. Mavropanos, I'm sorry, I've defended the guy for a long time now. I have. I'm not going to jump on his back because what you've got there is a £15 million player. So he probably shouldn't be starting. The issue is he only looks like a 10 to £15 million player. It's not his physicality. I think it's up here. He makes a lot of bad decisions. He makes a mistake at least every game. And that one yesterday was just fucking ridiculous. You know, it was nowhere near the goal. It was weren't really under that much pressure to react like that. And he just goes and kicks a bloke in the head. I don't know what he was thinking. You know, he hadn't had a bad game up to that point either. So it can't have been confidence because I would say Kilman, out of the two, he had a far worse game. I said in the first half of that game where he allowed Mateta to just shoot without even throwing his body in the way of the shot. Second half, I don't know what he did with their first goal. That's the worst defending I've ever seen. One-on-one defending. Zuma would have dealt with that. Zuma would have dealt with that. He's got no legs. Zuma would have dealt with that. Mateta is not Lionel Messi. He ain't got amazing feet. He's big and he's quick. But you can block him. You ain't got to worry that he's going to fucking jink round you, and you can commit. You can back yourself. You know. So yeah, that really really amazed me with our defenders. I think when you look at it, the surgery that needs to be done, it is major. It's major surgery for us to be able to deliver anything near the type of football that Potter typically likes to play. So many players have got to go. They've got to go. I mean, the positive from yesterday was seeing Alford and Scholes come on, and Scholes looks absolutely brilliant. He looks like he's really settled in now. You know, in fact, I'm going to say it. I think Scholes looks better on that left-hand side than Emerson. I think he should be starting, based on what I've seen so far. I think Scholes has shown more than Emerson. Personally, I think he should be starting. It gives you that kind of that youthful enthusiasm as well, that injection of hunger and appetite in the team that I think that we need. So how Cresswell got anywhere near that starting lineup when Scholes has been playing like he has been since being given an opportunity, I don't know. Cresswell shouldn't be in that team. He's done. And I appreciate what people are saying. He's got to get used to his team. He's got to get to know him. He's been a Premier League manager for a long time. He has been watching us. He knows the profiles of these players. He's also been seeing them in training. All right? Then you just got to make your decisions now, because this is what I was worried about. What I was worried about was Potter coming in and doing this same thing that Lopetegui did, which was you've got to give all of the players that were currently in the first team, you've got to kind of stick with them because you don't want to ruffle any feathers, and you've almost got to wait for them to play themselves out of the team. Fucking hell. Really? I understand there is a dynamic that we probably don't understand in Premier League management, which is where you've got to concentrate on a hierarchy within a team, big egos, and you can't go dropping bombs and upsetting a group by taking out, I don't know, popular characters in the team. But you've also got to stamp your authority and do what's right as well. And some of these players have got to go. They're past their sell-by date. I mean, we'll try and rattle through them. For me, the players that I would shift on from this team immediately. Now, from the first team, Fabianski. He's got to go. He's not go, still be at the club. But what I'm saying is he can't be a first-team starter anymore. Especially in a Potter team. Potter likes the keeper to be a sweeper keeper. Fabs can't do that. He needs replacing or upgrading. If Areola can't do it, they've got to get a keeper. We need at least 2 more centre-backs. At least 2 more. Because Mavro can never start, in my opinion. It's fine to have in the squad as a backup because he can also play right back. He's quite flexible. Kilman can't be the primary defender. He's not a leader. He's not a good centre-back. We need I'm quite encouraged by Tadibo. I think that Tadibo will flourish under Potter. I mean, obviously that remains to be seen. We've got to see that, but that's my gut feeling. But Kilman and Mavro, I don't think they're starters. They're not. We need a new centre back pairing. When you look at what Nottingham Forest have got with those two, Milenkovic and Murillo, we're way off that. We've got to sort the centre back pairing out. That's got to be done soon. Scholes, I think, needs to come in over Emerson, which is mad because Emerson is a very good player, but Scholes gives us more. So you've got to do the right thing on that front. Wan-Bissaka had his worst game yesterday, but I think obviously Wan-Bissaka is great. And you've got to back up in Soufal for however long, until Moyes comes in probably. And in midfield, Alvarez aside, we need new midfielders. I mean, you could keep Guido as a backup for Alvarez, but those two should never be playing in the same team on the same day. They shouldn't be. You know, from what I've seen of Guido, you could have him as a backup for if Alvarez gets booked, injured, whatever. You've got almost a replica player. He's not as good as Alvarez, but you're not going to get two players at the same level, you know, sitting on West Ham's bench. It ain't going to happen. So I think he's a decent backup for Alvarez. You just need two different types of midfielder. We need legs. We need pace. Souček, we're never going to progress while Souček is at this club or at this team. We're never going to progress. I'm not blaming him, by the way. I'm not. There's clearly a reason why managers keep picking him. It's because they trust him. But as a team, we're not going to progress while Souček is in that team. Not at the club. You know, I've said before, he's keep him in and around the squad as a player, as an impact player, crashing from the crashing the box when you need him to. Fine, absolutely good. But you can't be. The guy doesn't do enough in open play. He doesn't. Not for a midfielder. He covers a lot of ground, but he hasn't got the legs. He's not quick enough. He's not sharp enough. He's just not. You know, people went mental against Fulham because he done the slowest drag back I've ever seen in my life. That's how surprised they were that he could actually turn. That's the thing, because he doesn't turn, but he actually got the ball and changed direction. It took him half hour, but he did it. People were so surprised they was clipping it and putting it on fucking Twitter. That ain't right, is it? That alone is a piss take. He needs to be replaced. He's got to be taken out of that team. He just has, and we absolutely need a striker. So we need two new midfielders. We need a forward. We're not going to get all this in this window, by the way, because what I'm concerned about now, genuinely concerned, is that the board are going to look at this season now like it's been burned, and like we're not going to go down because we're 10 points above the relegation zone, and we're not going to get anywhere near Europe. Not a chance. So what's the point in spending a load of money in this January transfer window? What are we spending it for? I'll tell you what you're spending it for the fans, so that we can actually watch something different, something more exciting towards the end of this season, so that the manager who you've just brought in can actually start building his legacy at this club rather than fall to pieces and lose the confidence of the fans in the latter part of this season, because that will happen. Even those that are saying to me at the moment, oh, you got to give in time. It's going to be you. That if we lose 6 or 7 games coming up and we're playing shit, you'll be flipping. You'll be going the other way. If he doesn't get backed, he's going to foul. It is as simple as that. Any manager would. Put Pep in with this group of players. You know, Alex Ferguson. Anyone. And don't back him. They're going to foul. So I suppose it begs a question. We weren't really at risk of relegation with Lopetegui. It makes you wonder why they bothered even replacing him if they weren't going to back a manager. Because, I mean, we know why. Because there were so many problems behind the scenes. It was more off the pitch than it was on it. I get that. But what a thankless task for Potter this will be if they are not going to back him. And I'm hearing whispers that that's what we're looking at. You know, that could be the situation we're looking at. Yes, we're linked with loads and loads of players, but no one's been unveiled yet. No, there's been no deals agreed, you know? It's just ridiculous. I mean, we're talking, as we do in every single window, even the windows where we sign no one. We talk to players throughout the whole window because agents that offer players. That's what happens. So I just don't know. We're going to have to wait and see what they do. But for me, that would be unforgivable because come the end of this season, if we're between 14th and 17th place and we've had to watch 15 games in that mould, the vast majority of fans are going to be at their wits' end with Potter as well. They're going to... the start of his reign is going to be like, fucking what was that? The football was shit. It was horrible. It was defensive. It was this. It was that. And it's very difficult to win fans back over. Very difficult. Once they flip, once they go the other way. And it would be a shame because it wouldn't be his fault. But that's what you're going to be looking at. You're going to be looking at another failed manager if he doesn't get backed. Because I just think at the end of the season, unless he can perform an absolute miracle, it's going to be awful. We've got Aston Villa coming up. We've got Chelsea coming up. We've got Arsenal coming up. We've got Brentford coming up. Play like that against Palace. We're just getting served up by everyone. Everyone. I mean, if we can't expect to do any better than that at home to Crystal Palace, if we can't expect any more than what we saw at home against Crystal Palace, then we're relegation fodder, aren't we? Because if you're saying that we can't expect any more than that, you're also saying we're basically relegation candidates and we shouldn't moan if we get relegated. That was a 6-pointer, a bottom third 6-pointer that we had to win, or at least not lose. But we've got to accept not having a shot of any note on goal in 90 minutes and getting beat 2-0 against Palace. Because you got to back him. I get it. I do get it. I do back him. But I don't think the board are going to back him. I don't think they are. That's the feeling that I'm getting. He ain't got no fucking players yet, has he? None. We'll have to wait and see. I hope they prove me wrong. But they could very likely have said, this season is burned. What is a point in throwing money at this situation? What are we hoping to achieve? Because they don't really care about West Ham fans. They don't care about us. You know, they didn't sack Lopetegui, I don't think, off the back of us. It's a miserable situation. It is. It doesn't get any easier being a West Ham fan. We've got Villa next. You just got to hope that we've signed 5 players by the time we play them. Otherwise, you're going to be looking at something similar. It's just shit. The mood at that club is going to have come right down again. The players are going to feel like shit. They absolutely are. Because, you know, the bubble's burst now. And again, it isn't Potter's fault. I'm not saying it is. But he's not a miracle worker. He's not a magician. He doesn't have a magic wand. Well, he might have, but it don't fucking work. So, yeah, let's just hope that we get the business done that needs to be done. Give him some tools to work with. And then you can assess Potter once he can get his philosophy into a team that kind of suits his vision. He hasn't got that in a minute. He's having to play with like fucking half of a David Moyes team. I just don't know what you expect him to do. But anyway, I don't mean the fans. I mean Sullivan when I say that. But anyway, look, very rambly, very messy. But yeah, for fuck's sake, I will close on that. Just watch a video before you comment on it. Otherwise, you make yourself look like a dick, not me. All right. Speak to you soon. Come on, you irons.